Mercury. I am your interplanetary host, Travis Montgomery. These views reflect one planet and one planet alone. Welcome to Mercury's Cast. I am your host, formerly known as your interplanetary host, Travis Radio Face Montgomery. Bringing to you live to some people, episode 36. It's going down. Had a couple bail on us, but now this is going to give a chance for us to get to know a very interesting man who has a story to tell, and perhaps talk some politics, maybe argue about chemtrails a little bit. Who knows? Who the hell knows? No one can predict the future. I mean, we're just kind of here going along for the ride.
Yep.
On the wave of time and space continuum. It is January 3rd, 5th and or the 3rd. Doesn't matter. You're probably listening on another day. And we made it through 2016 without too many people having their feelings hurt. And Donald Trump will be inaugurated in a couple weeks. And black people are very excited about that. They just, well, let me introduce to you now, Ryan Flannery. Did I say that right?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. Hey, everyone.
Ryan Flannery.
Peace.
Say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone. Glad you could join us tonight. And should be an interesting night.
Yeah, we're going to get to know you, buddy.
Yeah.
I feel like you have a story to tell people.
I guess it depends on where you want to start.
Well, we'll start. Where are you calling from, first of all? Give a shout out to your hometown and where you're calling from right now.
I'm from Catonsville, Maryland. It's right outside of Baltimore. Shout out to all my peeps, East Coast. What up?
Me and you have been friends on Facebook for a long time. We've had our agreements. We've had our disagreements. This is a good place to bring it all together and see what happens.
Definitely.
Right.
I agree with you at 100%.
So first of all, what was it like growing up out there outside of Baltimore, Maryland? Was it a rich town? Was it give me a quick rundown what 0218 was like.
It's basically I'm sure just like any other suburb around this country. You got your middle class, lower middle class, upper middle class, people with some money, the same thing like everywhere else. But I live a little bit closer to the city than most people. And growing up in my neighborhood,
a lot of black people in Baltimore, huh?
I mean, where I'm at, I do live closer to, mixed in with the black population where I'm at. It's just the norm for me. As a matter of fact, my mom, we had our basement converted into an apartment years ago, and she actually rented to a single black mom. I was maybe 6 or 7, and I used to play with them all the time, and great people. But we would get threats from people in the neighborhood, what the fuck are you doing, with letting black people around. I mean, I wasn't raised that way. My mom didn't raise us that way. I've always had black friends, always been kind. They've been kind to me.
Agreed. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I still have communicated with friends today that, straight from the hood, you know what I mean? You know, people that, get down in certain ways that most people aren't used to. I'm still friends with people like that too. But all in all, Catonsville was a good place to grow up. You know, we rode bikes growing up and went in the woods, played in the dirt. We were allowed to run around at night. We didn't lock our doors. Well, and then heroin came.
It's interesting that you say that because I feel like how old are you, first of all?
Almost 38, a couple days shy of 38.
38. So you're like 5 years older than me. I feel like back when we were kids, like there was a lot more freedom to run around and just do like ride bikes, and you had to be home when it was dinner time.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. About chickens.
Yeah, definitely.
So, so growing up and on the outskirts of Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Baltimore have some riots like in 2015? Were you witnessing to that?
It wasn't 2015, or was it 2000? Yeah, I guess it was 2015.
I was off the top of my head. Got a photographic memory.
It's definitely been a while. I guess it was 2015.
And that was because of
Freddie Gray.
Yeah, that was a bad one, wasn't it?
Yeah, the police got him pretty good.
Was that the guy that was running away?
Yeah, that was the dude that was running away because, you know, they had planted drugs on him before and locked him up, and, you know, a couple times. I would run too. I mean, running's not against the law.
It's not. I thought he might have grabbed the taser. The taser?
No.
Or I'm thinking of a different one.
It wasn't anything like that. Yeah, that might be.
There's so many. There's so many.
I want to apologize to whoever's listening that the names of these incidents, of the people that unfortunately passed away, that I don't know their names right now. I'm usually on point with this, but right now my mind's going blank. So
maybe you could hold your earbuds a little in front of you, because I feel like you're a little quiet.
Does this work better?
Or are you on a laptop or a phone?
No, I just got my phone set up right here.
Okay. Yeah, that sounded a little better.
Okay.
Yeah. Wherever the mic is, try and get a little closer. Anyways, let's move on to some of the. I heard you say before that you went to prison. You went to prison in Maryland?
Yes. All my time spent behind bars was Maryland facilities.
And how was that? Meet some lifelong friends there? Get some great life skills?
Well, the first place I was at, which was a forestry camp when I was a juvenile, I was there for like 9 or 10 months. I mean, I was out in the woods in the mountains chopping trees down, swimming in a crystal clear river with, you know, trout swimming around. I mean, I had seen bears. I had a great time.
Sounds like a great time to me. I mean,
yeah. I mean, even though we were locked up and it was a lot of fighting going on. I mean, that was when I was a senior. I missed my whole last year of high school with that. For sleeping in class. They said it was probable cause to search me because I was sleeping in class.
You got heroin? Hold on, let me guess. Heroin?
No, it was, I mean, I had used it at that point multiple times. I actually had a habit already back then, before this point. But at that moment, I was selling a little bit of weed in school.
I mean, Come on.
You know, they were after me for years anyway, so I was already, you know, under the microscope. And I mean, I had already graduated, had all my credits, so I was just taking classes, you know, like every senior does. Kind of sleep and have fun. I was doing it like the rest of them, but they took me out because of, I guess, my history and my background, I guess.
What about your background would make it so intriguing for them to go after you?
You know, the usual, the people we hang out with, the groups of people we hang out with, definitely hammer down on us, or at least it did back then. I'm sure it still does. I mean, you can call it profiling or whatever you want. I mean,
let's be real. It's because you're white. It's because
definitely for sure.
I'm just kidding. It's usually the other way around.
Yeah, definitely. It's usually the other way around. I mean, we all had long hair. We got caught smoking every day. You know, a lot of them did get caught with drugs on them. I mean, a lot of the close people that I did hang out with, a handful of them didn't make it through high school because they were kicked out because they did have drugs on them, you know. But if, you know, I guess that type of group. But I still handled my stuff in school, and I'd already graduated. I had all my credits, everything. But I mean, none of that mattered in their eyes. So
out here, I feel like there's a lot of coke and meth that people stumble into that type of an addiction out here on the West Coast. I'm not sure that meth has really like made its way over there, but from what I hear and what I gather, that people start off like taking painkillers and stuff and drinking, and then the painkillers kind of increase more and more and more, and then you want the oxys, but you can't get the oxy, so now you're gonna go cop some of the black, and then now the black's not working, so you got to go get the white. I mean, so are you familiar with that white stuff too? The China white, the heroin, or were you not able to get that?
Well, no. I mean, I was getting that when I was 13. You know,
but that's whoa. That's a hard thing to come by, though, isn't it? Like a really good white heroin's really hard to get.
I guess back then, well, when I was younger, the first stuff I ever ran into was like a morphine-based heroin mixture powder. So that was really what, I guess, the group of friends, which were all older, from my neighborhood that I skateboarded with and hung out with or whatever, kids that I wanted to hang out with, they were getting huge packages from the city, from some drug dealers to sell in the county. I mean, they were the first ones to do it basically in the county, or at least in Catonsville. And I was right there along with it. And I guess it was just all downhill from there, basically.
Man, with so many major cities being so close right there, if someone had like that proper network to get to Baltimore, to get to New York, to get to Newark, to get to fucking Buffalo, to Philadelphia, to all. I mean, if someone had that on lock, that is a crazy. Like here in California, you got to drive 3 hours to get to fucking San Diego, and then another 6 to get to San Francisco. I mean, that shit is not. I mean, LA is its own 4 major cities in one. Then you have New York, New Jersey. I mean, everything's right there. Baltimore. I mean, fucking, you go a little further, and then you got Chicago. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a little far, but
it's the 95 corridor. I mean, you just ride straight up, hit them all. Yeah,
so it's readily available for people that want it. So what happens? And I guess we could pause here, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that you're not a fan of putting people in prison for having drugs on them. I'm just going to go out on a limb.
You're safe on that limb. I disagree with it 100%. I mean, when I was young, especially how it went down when I was a senior. I had a huge chip on my shoulder, even though I didn't blame anybody but myself. Even back then, I didn't blame anybody but myself. But on my shoulder, I mean, my life did. It wasn't. I'm not going to say it was all glamour and rainbows and unicorns, but or it was even going in the right direction at that time. But when I got locked up for weed, which is a natural plant that grows everywhere. And it was 0.001 grams, by the way, that they caught me with.
What? So they found you with some shit you probably didn't even know you had?
Exactly.
Or like just one rip after school?
Yeah, it was like a blunt roach or something. I mean, it was a female police officer and she couldn't touch me. She was trying to, but I told her she couldn't.
I would invite it.
I had like $700 on me and like a half ounce of weed. Money. I pulled out the money and cigarettes, but didn't pull the weed out. And they're like, "Oh, we can get them for cigarettes." And they found the blunt roach. So anyway, at that point when I did have,
can I stop you real quick?
Sure.
Is there something you could put your phone kind of rested on something? Maybe we could.
Yeah, that's what I was doing before.
Find a different location so we could just make it a little more.
Yeah, let me see if this will help. Is it moving around too much on you?
Yeah, it's not that I don't mind, but I think that the moving of the video causes a little delay.
Gotcha. Let's see if that helps at all.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I just got a new phone case with a stand on it.
What kind of phone you got?
It's a I used to have Apple, but now I have Android. It's like I don't even know what kind it is. 5 or something.
At any rate, you look great through the camera. I'll
Thank you. So do you, brother.
Well, I'm on a laptop and I don't look great. I look puffy. That's what I look like. Because I like these things.
Yeah, that would be nice right now.
Yeah, but you're not doing that. We're going to get to that, right? Or are you? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so you get locked up the first time. Was that so did that lead to like you having a prior and then getting locked up again?
Well, what it led me to was, because I was so young, was just more connections that had chips on their shoulders and they just wanted to get out and, sell weed better or sell coke better. It was just the perfect storm of bad stuff.
Were you a big coke guy too?
I mean, I used everything. Back then, I really didn't hold one thing over another, except for weed. And
weed was a constant.
Yeah, weed was a constant, and so was LSD. I loved LSD. Did a lot of liquid. I always mess with the liquid. And ecstasy, everything basically under the sun.
Did not discriminate.
Did not discriminate.
You still don't discriminate against anybody.
Don't discriminate.
Except for substances.
Yeah.
So you said you went to prison. Did you go to prison or did you go to jail?
My first adult charge, I served 2 years off of 5 for unauthorized use.
For having a substance?
No, it was unauthorized use of a vehicle. I mean, we were going to get, drugs.
So you borrowed someone's car?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh. And who's the asshole that fucking told on you? Well, you don't have to give anyone out.
Yeah. I mean, long story short, the first year I served off of that, I was in Towson lockup, which is just a complete shithole. It's boring. There's a lot of fighting because you're just sitting there on a tier for however long you're there for. There's no movement. There's nothing. That sucked. And
you ever get involved in any of those scuffles?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Unavoidable.
Yeah. A lot of times they are. Sometimes I brought it upon myself because I was having a shitty day.
Can you bring us back? Give us an example of one time when something happened.
Okay, I have a good one.
Just to bring us, put us right back in the picture with you.
Okay. So you want a good fight, right?
Sure. Everyone loves a good fight.
So this one time, this is actually right before I just did my last 5.5 years straight into county. You're going. Unless you have a state charge pending, you're in Towson. So my first day there, wasn't feeling too good. I mean, I was weighing like 130 pounds, dope sick. Mm-hmm. Just feeling like a real piece of shit. And I had to, you're in a cell we had 4 people eventually, but at the time we had 3. And there's one of my cell buddies was using the toilet. So I was standing outside the door or whatever, leaning on the railing. And this guy named Big Worm.
No way.
Straight up Big Worm.
No fucking way.
I swear to God, man. He was known on the tier for robbing white dudes and just taking their shit. And so he was up on the tier saying all this stuff out of his mouth. Bitch this, you motherfucking whore, this and that, you fucking bitch. And I look up at him and he was looking straight at me, like dead at me. So I was like, all right, this motherfucker's trying to call me out or something. So I just said, you trying to call me a bitch? Like whatever exactly I said. I mean, I told him pretty much he had to come prove me a bitch. And when all those words come out, whatever's about to happen. So, of course, all of his boys were like, damn, yo, this motherfucking white boy's just dug in your shit. What are you going to do about it? Trying to whatever. So his big ass, I mean, this dude was probably well over 300 pounds. I mean, 6 something. He was pretty fucking big. Comes down and I walked into the cell, grabbed my buddy on the toilet, just threw him out of the cell and just squared up ready for this dude to walk in. And as soon as he walked in, he was trying to talk. And I mean, when I'm squaring up, I'm not talking to you anymore. There's no talking. So I just came across the cell at him and drew first blood. I mean, I busted him right in his mouth and hit him maybe 3-4 times after that. I mean, he was bleeding a little bit. And that was it. It was over for me. Nice. He just started wrecking my world, man. I mean, he's got the hands the size of my head.
Oh, yeah.
There was nothing I could do. So, I mean, he was slamming me around the walls, slamming my face in the walls. There's a grate on your only window, and it's just like a regular grate. You can cut yourself on it. You know what I mean? Like if you hit it hard, it's going to open you up bad. And at one point, he had me against the grate, and he was trying to pull me back, flex me back, so he could smash my face in this grate. And I knew what he was doing, and the only thing I could do was put my one leg up against the wall to try to stop it. That was all I could do. And I mean, he was trying his damnedest, and it got to messing this up pretty bad. But after the 3 or 4 attempts at that, he just threw me back on the ground and just started stomping me and punching me in the face. And finally, some other big ass dude ran in, pulled him off me, and was like, all right, that's it. And that was it. Like after that, like the dude shook my hand and was like, mad respect for you, this and that, blah, 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 all that bullshit. And then that was it for that.
Wow. So now we know what happens when Big Worm catches up with Smokey.
Yeah, definitely. Right. I mean, but the thing with being behind bars in prison is, I never joined any gangs or anything like that. I was just me. I was just straight up with people. I never went out of my way to disrespect people, but if they disrespected me, you have to stand up and at least say something. Or the next guy might try to fucking rape you or something. You know what I mean? Like it's going
to keep coming.
Exactly. So, I mean, whether you get your ass beat or not, you just got to deal with it. So that's just how I've always been. I learned that in the forestry camps. Used to fight every day in there. You know, I was out of like 110 kids. I think there was only me and 2 other white guys. And, I mean, I stood up for myself the very first day over a fucking broom because we're supposed to clean our sections. And I stood up to one of these. That dude's name was Old Man. He was a gangster motherfucker, and he took my broom. I said, "Bitch, you better give me that fucking broom back." So, I mean, it was on, and they all just fucking respected me. And the other 2 white dudes, were just getting knocked out on a daily basis because they never stood up for themselves. I mean, you know, that's just how it is. It's
that scary. Many concussions can cause some serious long-term damages.
Oh yeah. I mean,
do you think you have CTE at all? Do you know what that is?
CET?
CTE. I forget what the scientific proper
terminology
wording is for it, but it's basically people that get concussions have like you know how they call boxers punchy?
Yes. Yep.
Or short memory loss.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had
crazy headaches, depression.
I've had a handful of concussions, probably through football. I mean, I have a huge scar from here to here. You might not be able to see it too well, but I open my head up.
No, I can't see it.
I don't know if you can see it, but it's
I just popped a pimple on my forehead, though.
I mean, I opened my head down to the skull. My skull was fractured just from a injury when I was like in 6th or 7th grade. I'm sure
what the fuck happened there?
I fell off of a rope swing into a gully filled with rocks, and I just landed on my head.
Oh, damn. So it's like a swing between two, like there's a stream there and there's a swing that goes back and forth.
It was just
did the rope break or you let go or?
No, it was there was 3 rope swings, like one at the bottom, one at the middle, one at the top. And we just had the balls that day to try the tallest one. And I was the first one to go on it. And when I swung out on the rope, and it's only like a stick, like this is straight up back of the woods. We ran into this thing and we just played on it every day. And I was holding onto the stick. And I remember I was at the highest point. And when I was coming back and I looked up, it was stuck in this like little jetty of a broken branch. The rope went right into it. And every time I would go out a little bit towards the edge each time. So I'm just staring up at this rope about to slip. And when it finally went, there was just so much slack in the rope. And I just fell head first, like down on these rocks at the bottom of the hill. It's pretty bad.
That is crazy.
But with the CTE thing, I don't think I have anything like that. I mean, I have the normal headaches from reading in a low light, stuff like that.
I tell my daughter not to do that. She always breaks out her book.
Yes. I mean, I went into...
So reading in low light, that is a real thing. I wasn't sure if that was a myth.
No, it's not. It's true. I mean, I went into prison this last time, perfect vision, full head of hair, everything. But I just read so much. I just consumed so many books. And there's no light in your cells. I mean, you're reading off of nothing basically. And I guess of me doing that, it really did screw up my eyes. I mean, it's not bad. I can see okay without wearing glasses, but it's just a foggy or whatever you want to call it, distorted or whatever. But yes, definitely do not read in the dark.
So catch us up to speed. I mean, you could share any jobs or schooling that you did that you want, but fascinated me was saying that you finally had kicked an addiction, and let's talk about how this went down and how long ago was that. So, are you completely clean and sober now, and how fucked up was your life?
I mean, before I went to, well, long story short, when I got out of, I had, let's put it this way, I had 14 years from everything until I just recently relapsed in, I think it was the fall of 2014. That's when I lost my 14 years. And it wasn't like dramatic, went off the deep end. That came at the very end. So
was it back on the deep block, that H?
No, it was, I had a reoccurring back injury. When I had this back injury the first time, I mean, I was immobilized for a couple, like I couldn't do anything.
And what was the back injury?
It was from when I was pipe fitter. You know, we lift heavy ass steel. You work hand in hand with those guys, probably doing sprinkler systems in buildings, schools.
Yep.
I saw some of your work that you do. I mean, we work right along with you guys. You know, you're working with some Schedule 40 or some Schedule 80 steel, galvanized or whatever. It gets heavy, and I just had an injury picking up cutter. It was a hydraulic cutter, and it's a 2-man thing. Like it's pretty heavy. It's like 120 pounds or whatever. And my boss told me to pick it up and put it over here. And I said, well, let me wait for someone else to show up. I mean, we had like 10 people coming to that job site, and he was like, get the shit out now. And I said, no. He was like, get that shit out or I'm sending you home type deal, you know? No problem. Walked it all the way into the school. But when I set it down, it just ripped my whole back. I mean, I felt it felt like somebody took a knife and just went straight up my back.
What was the injury exactly?
Luckily, and surprisingly, muscular. When I got the x-rays, my
lucky.
spine, very lucky, extremely lucky. My spine, because the muscle was so tight afterwards, after the injury, it looked like a question mark. It was a huge curve in my, like it was bad. And the guy was like, holy shit, like you're still not that seriously fucked up, because it's all muscular. Like it'll eventually loosen up and it'll hopefully come back to place. The whole thing was when the muscle was relaxing and healing, they were afraid that my spine was going to then mess up, like pop out or whatever, going into place, because it was already so far out. They were amazed that it didn't pop, but it didn't damage the spine at all. But I was just in bad shape for a while. The boss laid me off because I couldn't do anything. I didn't use painkillers or anything, man. I just sweated out. It was horrible. But when it started happening again, a couple years later, me with that same area was just hurting real bad, lower back, and it turned into sciatic pain. And
shit!
it was to the point where times it was hard for me to walk. I mean, I was laying on tennis balls, I was doing yoga, I was trying to stretch. None of that was really doing anything for me. And I went to see a doctor, and they gave me some pretty serious stuff, Dilaudid, which I was surprised that they gave me that. They gave me those. And my mindset at the time, because I had some things going on too, I was already kind of depressed, falling into a depression, letting some things get to me that were going on in my personal life. So I kind of all mixed that together and said, hey, fuck it. Like, it's okay if I do this. Decided it wasn't okay.
So you had the pills there, but you weren't taking them. Is that what I'm gathering?
No. The first time around, I didn't take any pills at all. That was years ago, like in 2008, 2009 maybe. But all the way to fast forward to 2014 with the sciatic problem. And some other issues with, some other stuff that was going on in my life at the time. I just used it all as a perfect excuse and was like, hey, I'm going to go see a doctor. I know I'll be able to relax with the sciatic. Plus, it'll get my mind off things with whatever drugs they give me. I knew kind of basically, but I wasn't expecting Dilaudid. It's a pretty serious prescription. And it was just off to the races after that. I mean, I just didn't stop. Kept it a secret for at least a year.
Who were you keeping it a secret from?
Friends, family, my girlfriend / fiance / now ex-wife.
Boyfriend.
At the time. Yeah, my boyfriend too.
Damn it, Charles.
I didn't tell anybody. It was just between me and at that point, my drug dealers. So
you were able to hide it.
I guess. I don't know.
At what point did it start becoming a problem where you couldn't hide it anymore?
I would say actually less than a year in. I mean, when I do things, I just go hard. That's just work, hiking, fishing. I just
Facebook
fighting.
posts.
Yeah, Facebook posts. Boom, that's a good one. I guess I always just go to the extreme with everything I do, and same with drug use. Within 6 months, I knew I had a serious problem on my hands, and I was afraid to tell everybody because I'd come such a long way from where I was in the past. I was like amazed at how I changed my life around, and I had a great job, and I was succeeding in life.
What were you doing for work at that point?
At that time, I was a project manager with a
fire sprinkler company.
I left that place. I didn't want to be crippled for my whole life, my rest of my life. Seeing all the old guys at the meetings, they could barely walk.
Yep.
Stuff. They laid me off another time after that, and I was just like, all right, see ya. Like, I can't stick around.
Yeah, those entry pipes into the big buildings are huge.
Oh yes, yeah. And then you got the OS&Y valves. Those things, 500 pounds. So, but I got a job with a pretty good telecommunication. Well, we did underground boring. We did directional boring for fiber optics. Mm. And we did a lot of other stuff too, like water pipe and plumbing and stuff like that on a bigger scale. Mostly directional boring. And they kind of groomed me from helper or laborer all the way to project manager in like 6 months. I just worked my way up. I was just smashing it.
Hold on. This sounds like white privilege to me. It sounds like you didn't earn it.
Oh, I earned it. But a lot of guys around me could have had that position also.
Are there Mexicans out there?
Yes. That's what I was going to say. The whole company was, they hired. I had worked with this company.
Do they speak Spanish or do they speak English?
They speak both. When need be, and when they see fit.
Yeah.
But I worked with this company back when it first started, back in 1999, I think, when it was just me and the owners. And they've just come a long way and built it up on a large scale. I didn't expect them to go the route of hiring laborers off corners. You know, whole for hours on end, but any skills beyond that, it just wasn't happening, man. So it was always a pain in the ass. Plus, I didn't like the way they were treated. They were good people. They had families just like me and the owners, but dogs, and I didn't like that either. But anyway,
especially out there, because out here there's like majority. I wouldn't say, well, I don't know. It's pretty damn fucking close. In LA and Orange County, there's like a lot of Mexicans. I'd say half, maybe.
That shit.
Yeah, and in some cities like Santa Ana, Anaheim, East LA, I could probably spout off another 5 that are 70 to 80% Mexican. Santa Ana is like 90. East LA is like 95. So
shit.
They end up out here. I mean, they got their own space pretty much. They run their shit. So, but I would imagine, and then on the East Coast, it seems like to me, some of those hard-nosed guys probably have some older kind of traditions in their blood where they would just fuck them. And not to say that it doesn't happen here, because I'm sure that it does, but I could see it happening a little more over there. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely an unexpected environment to come into. I thought they would. I mean, my whole thing, especially, I mean, I've managed people before. It makes your job easier when you have skilled labor around you. It's less problems you have to deal with when you can just send someone out to a job site and say, okay, do your job. Don't fucking call me. Get the job done.
That's me, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like,
I get shit done.
Yeah, I saw that nice work you posted, man. It looked good.
Thank you, brother.
But it's like,
I heard hold on, let me pause you for a second. I heard there's a shirt. I seen it online. It's, oh man, what does it say? It said, skilled labor isn't cheap and cheap labor isn't skilled. And it was like a installer shirt. Okay. So skilled labor is not cheap. And then cheap labor is not skilled. Like anyone can sweep or anyone can fucking dig a hole. But
a lot of the things come with those digging holes and stuff. Like you can't just dig a hole through a power line or a sewer line. Right. You know what I mean? Like
that's why we need a Ryan Flannery right there pointing the finger, telling him, hey, dipshit.
Bam. There you go.
You better watch that fucking shovel.
But, yeah, I mean.
So anyway, yeah.
So I was made the project manager. I mean, shit was rolling for me, man. I was happy. Had a gorgeous that I met through a blind date. And
you fucked it off?
Well, I mean, I guess that's part of the personal issues that were going on at the time too. When I started giving in with depression stuff. I mean, if she watches this or whatever, I know she disagrees. She just thinks, long story well, to put it, she thinks when everything ended, it's just because Ryan got high and he fucked everything up. I mean, shit was happening between us for years. And issues that I tried to talk about on a weekly basis. You know, you come home from a hard day's work, you know, you have a gorgeous woman waiting for you. You want to lay with her, you want to hug her, you want to caress her, or whatever. I mean, none of that happened. Like, just to be brutally honest, I mean,
yeah,
it was hard.
Dude,
it was
that shit does not fucking happen. It's more like well, there's this that needs to be done, and then there's. I'm just kidding.
Sure,
she doesn't listen to my shit anyways, but I mean, we all have this picture in our head on how shit's supposed to go, and it never fucking happens the way that we have it head in our puny little brains that are trying to digest this fucking swirling ball of life that's thrown at us every day.
Mm-hmm.
So so that wasn't happening for you. So were you, I mean, this seems like it's unresolved a little bit, or is it resolved, or is it done?
Well, I mean, it's cared about deeply. I mean, I'm a passionate person.
I can tell.
If I can't, you know, kiss my gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous woman, you know, or hug her or cuddle with her, I mean, it'll kill me. And it did. I mean, it just wore me down. And among other things too. It just wasn't like, I mean, that was a big deal that I always brought up. I mean, I don't want to say she didn't care about it, but I really don't know, because she would never relate to me how she felt. But I always said, hey, like, I want to fucking kiss you. Like, it's killing me, whatever.
So she was not really the affectionate type?
Yeah, it was. Sure, at first, you know, when two people meet, I mean, everybody does.
Oh, yeah.
But after that initial whatever, it was like nothing. And I mean, on top of that, there was other responsibilities, household responsibilities, that I just wasn't getting any help with. Nothing. I mean, zero.
Yeah, and you don't want to come home from work and do the dishes and the fucking laundry and then sweep the floor too.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows that.
But it was like an everyday thing. And
so
just everything combined, you know.
I'm a little lost here. Or is this something that you would want back, or is this done? I mean, was it, what is it that she liked about you, and then how did all that change?
I couldn't tell you what she liked about me. It's a good question. I mean, that's a damn good question. I really don't know.
Do you have a high self-esteem or a low self-esteem, or maybe this has changed recently?
Sure, of course. I mean, with what was going on, with what I was allowing myself to endure, obviously I was beating myself up thinking I was me, or I'm not handling the situation right. I mean, there's a handful of times where I lost it and I would explode and just start yelling. I mean, we all do that from time to time, which I do regret, but it definitely,
it's also your rough past coming out sometimes too.
Sure, definitely. Yeah, and that was a valid point that she would bring up sometimes, like the way I speak or whatever, and there's a tone of aggression in my voice or whatever. Those are all valid points, and I knew exactly what she was talking about. I mean, prison was no joke. I made it to the highest security prison in the United States, and it's no fucking joke. And a lot of that would come out, especially after I'm trying to voice my feelings with what I have issues with our relationship. And I feel that, they're not being listened to at all. Sometimes the aggression does come out when you're in a heated argument. But that wasn't, in my eyes, the reason why. And I mean, if I think I did something fucking shitty, like I did a couple of shitty things, sure. I was rude a couple of times, a handful of times. I said shit I shouldn't have said. Everyday shit. But I don't even know where I'm going with this. But
that's fine. That's all right, brother.
I don't know.
So let's go back to the most recent part of getting clean.
Yes.
You ended up.
Okay.
You guys ended up breaking up.
Yeah. After we had gotten married last October 2015.
Okay.
Something I tried to talk her out of because I didn't feel right with the relationship. She would talk me back into it, whatever. But after we got married and went to our little honeymoon or whatever it was, that's when I was like, hey, I have a fucking problem, and I need help. I wanted to tell my work. I wanted to tell my family. I wanted to tell everybody because I just couldn't do it on my own.
And what were you taking at the time, the Dilaudid?
I was just taking any type of... Dilaudits are hard to come by on the street. Unless you got the right connects, which I didn't have, because I really didn't search too deep. Once I found a connect with just, what the hell were they? Just your basic hydrocodone, oxycodone, just the basic painkillers. There wasn't anything serious like straight up oxys that I was buying.
It was a mix.
Yeah, it was like, the stuff mixed with acetaminophen or something like that. But
And how much were you taking a day?
There were days where, let me see. I would spend $100 a day, easy. Sometimes more. You know what I mean? At those 6 months, 7 months into it, I was barely maintaining the basics. I was like hurting. And
so you said you weren't paying bills?
I was right at 6 or 7 months in, like I was right on the cusp of like not being able to do anything at all, like afford bills or anything.
And you were married?
No, not at that time.
So she had left you because you told her that you had a problem?
I guess it kind of did go down that route. I didn't get the kind of response that I thought I was going to get initially. I was expecting her to be severely upset. I know who she was. I know how she acts. I know how she jumps off the chain. Like, I was expecting her to be fucking pissed. But it eventually went to another level on her end that I don't want to talk about right now. But
right, no.
It wasn't what I expected, and from that point on.
Do you think when you guys separated that just like ramped up your addiction up to another level?
No, my addiction was already at that point. With her response and her reaction, it was like within a day or two, I was downtown copping dope. Like I went straight from pills just to copping dope because I was just so fucking depressed and felt like a piece of shit, and because I hurt her feelings, but like part of the whole fucking thing was my feelings were being stepped on a daily basis too. I mean, and there's a whole other issue with some corporation I'm about to go to court with too that ripped me off in this whole mix.
Right.
And that was just taking me down too. So eventually she asked me to leave, and I was like, okay, like I'm not going to fight it. Like I had my shit packed and was ready to go, and okay. But so I left there, and this is into maybe like around March or something, 2015 when I left. I was just so fucking out of it mentally and physically. I couldn't be there for myself or her. And I had zero fucking money. I was spending $1,000 a week on heroin,
Where the hell were you getting all this money from?
Well, I mean, I was just.
I'd love to spend $1,000 in heroin if I had $1,000 to spend.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't paying any bills at all.
Oh,
like at that point, I just given up completely. Yeah, I was still barely holding on.
Was your job like situation falling apart, like not showing up late?
Oh yeah. That's everything fell apart.
And how were you able to hold on to your job for as long as you were?
In my position, I controlled a lot of things. I only had to answer to the owner. But eventually my addiction took over. I was in charge of inventory. I mean, they had me do everything, payroll, everything. And then I would go physically work my own jobs while I was covering 5 other jobs. Like they were basically treat me like a Mexican. Basically,
a smart Mexican that spoke English.
Sorry, everybody, if I offend anybody out there. But there's
smart Mexicans out there too. Don't act like they're not.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. They're great people.
No, I know a ton of them.
I mean, I was pulling 50, 60-hour work weeks like it was nothing. And they were just working me like a dog. But just I had access to
high the whole time. I mean, you got to get that morning thing out of the way so you don't get sick.
Sure. I mean, I would just keep some at, well, I wouldn't want to say keep some at work, but I would keep like a pill under the floor mat in my work truck that I used at work. Nobody has the keys to it but me. And I was always the first one there. I was there an hour early before everyone. I opened the whole place up every morning at 5:30 in the morning. So I had my time while I was doing emails and printing out prints for jobs and writing material list up. Like I would shoot up right then and there while I was doing all that shit. But with me controlling the inventory, my addiction was just like, all right, I control all of this. I can start taking some of this shit. So, I was taking, what tracer wire is. It's a copper rolls. So people
hold on, you cut out for a minute there. What did you say you were taking? You're taking what?
Tracer wire. It's huge copper rolls of wire. And I mean, I was just slamming them left and right. And I mean, while I was doing it, I don't know what was going through my mind. I mean, other than drug money or whatever, but eventually that caught up to me. Fuck, we just ordered $10,000 worth of this stuff a month ago. It's supposed to last 4 months, so everything started. I really dug into them pretty deep. And I was the only one that could answer for it. And it all came to a head. And, I guess because of my history and they knew me or whatever, they didn't press charges. I thanked them, and I had to apologize. And, well, to not all of them, but I did say some apologies. And that was it for that company. I went from the top all the way to absolutely nothing, real fast. It all went downhill fast. So, after that, basically, the issue right now with me not working is what I just mentioned earlier is with that corporation that I'm taking to court. Actually, this January, I'm going to trial after 4 years. I was ripped off for a $19,000 loan on a car that broke down like the very next day. And
Whoa.
I took it back to him and went in my Jeep back, which was an awesome Jeep. Jeeps last forever. And they were like, sorry, no. And I was like, what? What the fuck? Your shit's broken. I just bought it yesterday. Sorry, man, it's not my problem. Like, that's how they were. And so I started dumping all my money into fixing this car. It was breaking down on me like 10 times a day, literally. I was on the side road 10 times a day. To eventually the point where it didn't even work. It needed a whole new engine after I'd already put, $6,000 into it.
Jeez.
So basically it just fucking broke me. Which was part of my depression and everything coming together with the relationship. And on top of that, especially after I'd worked all these years to build my life back up, and it, like, all the shit was just being dumped on me all at once. I was like, fuck, man. Like, seriously? Like, can I get a fucking break here?
Right.
So at this point in my life, it's good.
We are almost at about an hour.
Okay.
So let's talk about where you're at now.
Sure.
And I see you posting all these motivational hikes and how you feel about it today. And just to rewind a little bit, so you lose your job, mm-hmm. and then and you kind of just progress. How long is it after you lose your job to getting sober? And did you have an epiphany? Did you hit rock bottom? Did you go to a treatment center? Explain to us how all that went down.
So after lost my job, lost Rachel, lost everything basically. I did try to commit suicide twice in the same day.
Whoa.
Tried to hang myself twice. The fucking thing broke on me twice, back to back. I didn't want to fucking live. Like, I was just demoralized. I was kicking in pretty bad. Everything that I worked for, was just gone. But anyway, it didn't work. So kept on using here and there. Let me fast forward to, I guess, July. Everything went through on the divorce. That cleared. And shortly after that, this whole time, my ex, she just wanted me, at least what she was telling me, just get treatment, whatever, and you can come back and live with me. And I was like, I don't even know if I really want that. But I didn't tell her that. So I kind of lived that fabricated emotion out with her for a little bit. And, but when she finally just said, good luck with your life, that released a whole lot of pent up whatever inside of me. And I just, a big wave of anxiety was left me. I gave up looking for work because I can't hold a job down without a car. It's like when your life is built up and revolves around having a car to make your life work, taken away from you. It's kind of hard to keep a job, any type of fucking job, because they ask you when this type of work that I want to do, you have to have transportation. Really, any job, you have to have transportation. They always ask me. So that same month, all that happened, and I just gave up and said, fuck it, like, start thinking positive about this court case coming up in a couple months, which is finally coming around. And, let it all fall, let the ashes fall where they want to.
Where they may.
Yes. Yeah. And all that released a lot in me, and I just let it go, man, and stopped focusing on something that I knew was never going to happen, at least for me, or which was going back to my ex, and the job thing. Like, because if I don't have a job, like, I've worked 3 jobs before once, and I never fucking slept, but I had huge paychecks. I had a lot of money. Like, it hurts me personally inside. It makes me feel weird if I'm not working, and I had to let go of that too, and it was real difficult struggle with me. It still is to this day, but I'm just not acting on, the depressing feelings or whatever. I just let it all go. And then one day it was just like, boom, I'm Ryan again.
Yeah. If I'm not working, like day 4, I'm like, I get up, I'm like, I have to go for a run. I have to exercise. I have to do something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been exercising and hiking, which I hadn't done for years,
So let's wrap this up. Give us a rundown of what your daily life is like now. I mean, what are you doing morning tonight?
All right, so I'll just explain what I did today. So I get up around 5 o'clock in the morning. My mom has 2 horses. Nice. I go take care of them in the mornings, clean their stalls, feed them, take them out the pasture if it's not raining.
Smack them in their ass a couple times.
Yeah, give them treats and stuff. They're real cool to see. It's real cool in the morning, to be out there and doing that stuff.
Take some pictures of them. Post it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll do that. And I'll come home. My mom will be ready for work. She's been letting me use her car lately just so I can get out to hiking and stuff like that, which is awesome. She doesn't have to do that. So I'll take her to work. I'll come back, eat some breakfast or something, and then I'm out in the woods, basically. Come back.
You seen some shit out in the woods? What kind of animals you come across out there?
I mean, just recently I was chased by 2 dogs in the middle of the woods. And that's actually where I went back. Yeah, like I've never had that happen to me before. I mean, I've seen bears. Everything on the East Coast, basically. I've actually pretty much more than positive I've seen what they call a mountain lion.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out here. And those motherfuckers,
yeah.
You do not want to get involved with the mountain lion. Damn, I think that might have just ruined that. Now I might have to put explicit. Did we cuss at all during this? I don't think we did.
Yeah, I cuss a little bit.
Yeah, that's all right. Whatever. I'll put the E up anyways for the episode.
So basically it's
But yeah, those mountain lions, them and house cats are pound for pound the strongest cats. Pound for pound, even more than a lion or a tiger. Because
I mean,
you can imagine like how high a house cat can jump or like scale a wall. Like lions can't do that because they're too heavy.
Yes, that's a good point, because the one that I saw was in Anne Arundel County. Trying to think of the area, but it was a secluded area, and looked over to this hedge area where there was like a cliff on the other side of the hedges, and it was sitting. I thought it was just a cat, but I was like, I'm like 100 yards away, and that thing's huge, and it saw me immediately, and it just within one leap, it just jumped over this hedge like it was nothing. The hedge was like 15 feet tall, and it had a long ass tail. I mean, it was a huge cat.
Yeah,
it was like a freaking mountain lion, which they're rare. I mean, people do say that they see them, but they're very rare around here.
There's a lot of them around here.
Yeah.
You see them in the hills and the mountains of the San Andreas. Mm-hmm. So how do you wrap your nights up with the dinner? And did you have trouble sleeping when you were kicking it? What was the kick like? Were you sick?
Oh, yeah. I was definitely sick.
Trouble sleeping?
Oh, yeah. I've always had trouble sleeping anyway. I think I have problems with PTSD just from prison stuff.
Yep. It's a common theme. I know a couple of people would say the same thing.
I was in a pretty bad fight one time, and a weapon was used against me, and if I do fall asleep, there's that moment when I get hit up with that weapon, and I'd pop out of my sleep. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Oh yeah, that initial like fall when you close your eyes, and then sometimes it's like that first part of dreaming, and then you step off a ledge, and all of a sudden you're falling, and you're like, oh shit, and you wake up. But for me, that's like fantasy, but for you, that's like you're remembering something. Yeah,
it's like whatever type of memory, muscle memory, but so basically, I like to go hiking during the days, every day.
Get tired?
I went back today to look for those two dogs that chased me in the middle of the woods.
Those motherfuckers.
We're
going to get their ass, damn it. We're going to get their fucking ass.
I was just going to try to, see if their owner was just dead in the woods or something, or I was going to try to
Did they have collars on, or?
Yes, they had collars on.
Oh, good Lord.
I was expecting to see an owner after 20 minutes or 30 minutes of them barking at me, but I didn't see anything. Just from my own conscience, I had to hike that whole area today. Just look for their dead owner.
Or do you have a knife or a pistol on you or anything?
I carry I do have some big knives. A couple of them are 13-inch, 14-inch blades. I have a nice machete that I do bushwhack with when I go fishing sometimes in remote areas. But for the most part, just a pop-out blade, 7 inches, serrated. Actually, I just sharpened it today because of those dogs.
And any kind of animal, you probably should have a pistol with you, some kind. But maybe you're not even allowed to have that. I'm not either. I got set up in a sting operation one time. I'll tell you about that another time.
Nice. Believe me, I wish I could conceal carry or even own a gun.
Yeah,
I would.
There's ways around it. You probably could figure it out if you wanted to.
I could get a gun tomorrow, but I haven't.
You know what? Good for you, man. I think we are about where I want to be at time-wise.
Okay.
For us too, for this episode, and it was great getting to know you. Now, I think I want to do this with first-time guests. I know that there was a potential one or two other people to be on, and for some of the normal listeners who like us to get into politics and stuff, you can go back to these episodes after you hear maybe Ryan comes on again. And we start talking politics, and you want to say, what is Ryan all about? Well, go back to 36, and you can hear his whole damn story. Because I'm guessing you probably want to come on again and talk some politics or something else other than just yourself. But since it was just me and you tonight, and I kind of had a feeling that you have an interesting story to tell, I wanted to just try and exhume that out of you. And I think we did a pretty good job. We did a great job tonight. I got to know you. You don't know much about me. I'm a little crazy cat, but hey, that's all right. You'll get to know me in due time. So yeah, this was a great conversation, man. I really enjoyed talking with you. I'm sure we only got like to the tip of the iceberg, but we got to start talking about some issues at some point next time. Maybe next Thursday.
I'm game for that, man. You know how I am with that.
Cool, brother. So sometimes at the end of the show, we'd like to just give a shout out to somebody, dead, alive, or fictional. I didn't have one yet. How about a shout out to Carrie Fisher?
There you go, man.
Princess Leia. Man,
may you rest in peace.
There's a lot of shout outs to give. The end of 2016 was fucking weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, dude. It was. I'm glad my mind was right.
Yeah, you might have. Oh, wow, you might have lost you.
It was. It was just hectic, man. People dying left and right. Well, I want to give my shout out.
Go ahead.
My shout out goes to. It's the oldest panda bear in China died right before in 2016 too.
No way!
Shout out to my man Pan Pan.
Oh man, my best friend's wife is a panda enthusiast. I wonder if she knows about this.
Yeah, man. I think he was somebody said he was 31 or something.
Wow. I'm going to break her heart tonight. Well, thanks for staying up late. I know you're on that East Coast time.
Yeah, it's all right, man. It's all good.
So anyone that's made it this far, thank you for tuning in to Mercury's Cast. I'm your host. And good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, wherever you might listen. Bye.
Peace.